Good afternoon, brothers and sisters, all across this flat plain that we call Earth. For the most part, flat, except for the beautiful hills and valleys. It's for the most part flat plain. How's everybody doing? Well, I was talking over there on another video about angels, and I'd like to talk some about angels. Angels being angels and sons of God being sons of God. But I believe in angels now. And I believe that they're ministering spirits, you know. I have my grandmother. I have this, I believe to be true story. I'll tell you about it. I've been wanting to put it on video, but I just hadn't had the time or had the right the right opportunity, because I wanted to do it right. My grandmother was when she would come see us in the summertime, in the springtime, and in the summer, she would just light up the house. She was 80 something years old, but she was just like a little. She was young at heart, like I said. She was kid and joke. We'd have a ball. She could tell a story when she'd tell a story to us, and she'd tell about the old days. It'd be just like watching it in 8K on the big screen TV with surround sound. The way she'd tell it, because your mind would just sit there and you'd vision. You could see, she was a master at word, putting word here and putting word there where it just came out beautiful. But she just lit up today when she came. She'd come up and she'd have that cream all over her face and just kiss us. She just loved us. We wasn't nothing to be loved. We was spoiled brats. But anyway, she would go on with us. She'd come in. She used to love to sing. Love lifted me. Love lifted me. Anyway, I can't do it like she did. That was one of her favorite hymns. And anyway, she just lit up the house when she came in the summertime. She'd come in there and we'd all be in bed. She'd say, "Wake up, little birdies, wake up. All the other birdies are out of their nest. You should be up and out with the rest. Wake up, little birdie, wake up." And she'd tease us and tell us to get out there and get busy and do some chores. And but anyway, I wanted to tell you about this one story that she told us about angels, concerning angels. And this is true. This really happened. She was serious when it came to this story. She sat us all down in the living room and told us about this. She said they lived up in the country over here in Georgia. I'm not sure about this, but I'm exactly all the facts are correct. So but I believe they worked around this brickyard and kind of this little community that it was old, horse and buggy days. But anyway, she had 9 children. A lot of them were real close together. And she had one that was my mother. And she was a baby. My mother was the baby. And to make it anyway, one of her sons was named Little Robert. Called him Robert, but they called him Little Robert. And my grandmother was resting in the bed. She was tired. She had a lot of chores she had to do. But one of the little well, let me take that back. The little baby was resting in the bed. The little baby was sleeping. That was my mother. She was a baby. And he walked by one day and he said, "I'll tip right softly so as not to wake the baby." And those were the last words that she heard from little Robert, because he went out and got into some matches, got in the barn, burned the barn down. When they found nobody could get close to the barn, it was so hot. When they got to the rubble of the barn, they found little Robert. Had these rings around him, little metal rings, where he'd crawled in the barrel and burned to death. And there was just the scorched form of his body there, you know. And that was my mother's brother. So there were just 8 of them after that. But anyway, the grief of it was like unbearable, you know, for my grandmother. Now, this is the same woman. This has all this cheer. This brings us such light, you know. Lived to be way up into her 80s, and raised all those other 8 kids. But she was saying that she almost died from the grief that she couldn't do anything. For weeks she just stayed there and grieved and grieved and grieved. Didn't want to live. And you can imagine the guilt, you know, that she must have felt for that little child, you know. Went out there and got into something. But right before that, she couldn't go on, couldn't get up, and couldn't take care of the other kids. She still had 8, you know. A lot of them were young, you know, especially my mother. But she grieved and grieved and grieved. And then when she thought it was just about, you know, she wasn't going to make it from the grief and the guilt that she felt, she said she was laying in the bed. This is the time that she was laying in the bed, because she was bedridden. She couldn't even get out, you know. She just wanted to lay there and die. But she said the room filled with light. And this being that was glowed, this bright being came to the foot of her bed. And out of that, and she heard it, these words. I hope I get them right. Doesn't want to be exaggerated, but I remember it was just a few words that this angel, and I believe it was an angel, said, "The Lord has sent me. The Lord has sent me." And then all of a sudden, the light just went all over her body. The grief left. Joy came into her heart. And she gets up and starts ironing the clothes of little Robert and passing them down to some of the other children. And she goes on and lives. And she told that story to this day. But the thing about it was, only God could do something like that. And God, and I read later, I didn't know what this was when she was telling it to us. I didn't know this. I didn't know that the angels were ministering spirits, you know. So God sent this being, this angelic being, to her. And it appeared to her in this realm, you know. She saw a light. She said there was a being. I believe it to be an angel. It said, "The Lord has sent me." And then after that, a power just went all over her, a ministering spirit. And she told us that, and to this day, I get chill bumps when I think about it. Of course, little Robert was in heaven, and she knew it. She didn't worry about it the way she did. I'm not saying she never grieved again, but she carried on. Only God can do that, brothers and sisters. Can take the guilt of something like that away. I remember the kids I was keep my kids, and they get out of my sight, and I nearly have a heart attack. And God help me if something bad was to happen. I'll tell you what I'd do. But just wanted to put that out there and tell a story about angels. Yes, I believe that God has angels. I believe we have angels. So we don't see them all the time. You know, we don't see them, you know, at all. Some of us don't see them at all. But I believe they can come over into this realm and you can actually see them. That's what I think angels are. I don't believe that angels are, the fallen angels can cross over in a in a flesh and blood body. Let's put it that way. But anyway, that's the story about the angels. I want to put it on there about my grandmother, who was like a teenager all the way up into her 80s. And she filled the house with joy when she came in, and would sing old hymns and stuff like that. I remember, I'll do it again. See if I can do it better now. Love lifted me, love lifted me, when nothing else could help. Love lifted me. It had a her voice had a flutter in it, what she was saying. But anyway, just wanted to put that out there and put it on tape, send it out to the world. Yes, God has angels, ministering angels. They are all around in the unseen world that and each child of grace has at least one of them, I know. But anyway, peace and love from this old boy down here in Alabama.